I did not pick that song, by the way, but I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I have something to say now. Thank you, Eddy. Thank you, Lori, my daughter. I feel so old today. And actually hearing you say those words, Eddy, I remember that day clearly, but the last couple of months I've been like, I don't know if this public speaking thing is for me, because I just can't focus my thoughts to get things organized. I can speak, I can go on forever. You probably need a cane at the end of this to get me off, but to try to organize my thoughts and get a slide presentation together is not my thing. I go off the hip, so I'm hoping this lands the way it's supposed to. I'm hoping for the best. It's my first time at it, but honestly, so many of you guys made me feel so comfortable and important, and really, like, I can't believe the support I got. And I heard something that said, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. So thank you for, yeah, you got a process. So thank you for that. See how we're going to start this. So, yeah, Eddy, thanks for that invitation. It was kind of cool. I'll probably get into that if I got time, but I asked myself, well, first of all, I'm a mortgage broker on, I guess, almost 20 years, and with Eddy Condamo Mortgage Center, I did that. I was doing for like Rita for 18 years and 3 girls, got a little dog, all girls at home, so that's exciting.
That sucks.
And, you know, I think through the course of my life, other people saw potential in me that I never saw for myself, and that's probably the case with most people. So I asked myself over and over again, why did Eddy ask me to speak here? And, you know, I don't like these, there's certain words I might even use them today, like manifest and law of attraction, and, you know, those kind of words. Because like Dustin says, there's a stigma to them that he doesn't particularly like, and I feel the same way, but I'm a real guy. I got some good sense, I think, and logic. But I've discovered that these things kind of work. So when Eddy called, despite me thinking I manifested it because I had just asked for it, I think really what caused Eddy to ask me is he's seen the changes I've gone through in the last 14 years. I knew Eddy back when he had hair still at CMHC. Yeah, so I'm a really different man standing here. I'm still a little bit, you know, I still have my insecurities. I still have my imperfections, of course. I haven't not figured anything out, but just changing the way I thought really changed my world. I grew up in a house. My parents are Italian, Southern Italian. So, you know, the man ruled the house. He called the shots. My mom just cooked and cleaned, and I grew up with a skewed idea of what a relationship is. I grew up with double standards, and my parents are great people. My father is a beautiful man who always did what he could with what he had, and I think we always operate out of our level of awareness, and we know what we know what we don't know. Like I know I don't know how to do open heart surgery. But there's things that we don't know that we don't know. And as a parent, I remember hearing the words, what you don't fix, your kids inherit. And that was like a punch to the face for me. Because part of my upbringing, although it was a loving family and very supportive, always encouraging, there was a lot of justification for where they were at in their life. Am I allowed to walk around?
Yeah.
So I like a pace. I got a pace. So I grew up with the mentality of lack and limitation. Like life had to be a struggle and be hard. Money was for other people. We didn't drive through those beautiful like bridle path and Forest Hill and say, wow, look at what this guy accomplished. I wonder what he did to achieve this wealth. It was, you know, this guy's a crook, this guy's a monster. That guy didn't pay taxes. That guy's probably mortgage to the tilt. So I grew up feeling like the rest of my life is going to be a struggle. It's like, this is not a life for me, it's for other people. So I think I'm getting into the slideshow now. We'll see how this goes. I have no idea what these slides are going to look like up here.
Yep.
So with every adversity comes the seed of an equal or greater advantage. That's Napoleon Hill. He wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, which is basically the Bible for personal growth, I think. And I think a lot of guys here probably read that. And you got to kind of look for the good, but if you look at any struggle, anything that you've suffered through or struggled through, there is an equal and opposite to that. You just got to look for it. I think Mark said, the industry's tough right now, right? It's a tough environment with the stress test and qualifying and all that. But the opposite of that is people need the information that we have. They need us, right? So if you learn to look at, and our whole life occurs through perception, how we see it, the filter that we have. So my world started to change when I met this guy, Bob Proctor. And I heard things from this man that I never heard before in my life. It was like, wow, we're supposed to experience abundance and great joy and have everything we want in life. And it was a different way of thinking. It wasn't motivation. It was almost spiritual, right? So that's when my life began to change. And I don't have time to tell the story when I decided I wanted to speak. But, what I discovered going through this Proctor information, and I paid for an education that I don't think I could have got at Harvard or Yale. Einstein said that it's not all about education's not all about learning facts. It's about your ability to think or learning to think. And we didn't learn to think in school. I didn't learn how to think in school. They teach us to, read this, remember it, repeat it, and then come back here and put it on a test paper. And based on that, I'm going to grade you, and that's going to gauge, what your future potential is, what future outlook holds. And I'm sure probably a lot of us in the room don't have a lot of education, but I don't remember them teaching us how to set a goal, or why we don't achieve those goals, or why we feel the way we feel about situations, or how to respond instead of react. Why we're not getting the things we want, why we're doing the things we're not supposed to be doing, or not doing the things we know we shouldn't be doing. So that I really feel that the information that I'm going to share, hopefully you will agree, should be taught in schools. But the first thing I learned was that I didn't know how to set goals. And there's 3 types of goals. There's an A-type goal. An A-type goal is a goal that you already know how to reach. So I did $10 million of volume last year. Next year I'm going to do $12 million. You know what? You did 10, you know how to do 12, right? Like, it's not really going to get you outside of the comfort zone. It's not going to excite you. There's B-type goals. A B-type goal is one where if you sit down with a paper and you start planning it out, you get your Excel spreadsheet and you say, if I get this resource and I call on this person, I can hit this goal. That's a B-type goal. It's better than an A-type goal, but again, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little boring, right? So we need to set goals when we're stretching. Go way outside of our comfort zone. Pick a goal that really, it's got to be something you really want. It can't be, I'm going to be an astronaut, and you never picked up an astrology book, right? Like, it's got to be something that means something to you, that drives something inside of you. But maybe you just haven't let it occur for you because right away logic and everything else that we've been programmed to think stands in the way and stops you from even considering that goal. We get stuck on the how, and then that goal disappears. So a C-type goal is one where you're stretching. It gets you outside of your comfort zone. You don't grow when you're on the couch watching the Housewives in New Jersey with a pillow and a blanket when you're comfortable. You grow when you're like doing some crazy stuff, right? So a C-type goal should cause you to get out there and when I say grow into your goal, it's not about getting your goal. It's about who you need to become to get that goal. And guys, I gotta say this. Maybe some of you are like, what's Trimboli doing up there? It's not like I'm doing 150 million, I've got everything I want in my life, but I can tell you, like, my life has changed dramatically. I still don't know how to really shut the voice. I mean, I've gotten a lot better, but the last 2 weeks have shown me I've got a long way to go. And it's just about growing into that person. When I was doing 10 million, I was operating at a level that could only think of results of 10 million. I couldn't ever get results of somebody that was doing 50 million, right? I had to grow to the person. I had to start doing the things that the person of 50 million would do in order to get 50 million. So, I don't even know who that guy is, Robert Heinlein, but he's that. He said in absence of failure, but this is good. In absence of failure to find goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia. Like, think about the people that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get in their car to drive to Barrie, which is an hour north of Toronto. In traffic, it's probably an hour and a half. For 20 bucks an hour, you know, and they just go through a routine. Much like I did growing up. Like, I drifted through my life. I ended up at 38 or 39 years old. I'm married, I got 3 kids, I got a house, a huge mortgage, and I'm like, how the hell did I end up here? I'm a mortgage broker. I didn't pick this. I wasn't in school going, when I grow up, I'm going to be a mortgage broker. Who the hell here wanted to be a mortgage broker? Like,
sexy.
Right? So I ended up here. Yeah, I was a mechanic. Oh my God, I was selling suits at Georgial downtown. I was pumping gas. I worked at a bakery. Now I'm a mortgage broker. I was talking about real estate. So yeah, without a goal, you're kind of drifting. What did I do? So there's 2 things that you have to know to reach your goal. Sorry, guys, I'm going to go on. You have to know where you are and where you're going. Seems simple, right? If I get in my car and I want to go somewhere, you got to tell it where you are and tell it where you want to go, and you kind of got to get there, right? So why are so many people stuck? After what I just told you about goals, probably the first inclination is to say it's because they don't have a goal. But I discovered a lot of people have goals. Not everybody does. Probably most people don't. But a lot of people do have goals, but they're not hitting them. Eddy, when you called me, I don't know if you remember, you had expressed a little bit of frustration, I think, because you had gone to see some brokerages or some brokers that had set goals in January, and you, being the president that you are, goes out and sees what's going on. You're like, Joe, I go back to see how they're doing with their goals. And what goals? With an Eddy fashion, right? So they set a goal, and then 6 months later, the goal is gone. It disappears. So I don't know. Is it not having a goal? I think the problem really is where we are. We don't know where we are. We don't know who we are. If you get in the car and you put in a destination, I want to get to 55 Main Street, and you don't know how to get there, the GPS isn't going to calculate the route until it knows where you are, either by GPS or until you tell it where you are, right? So you can't start going anywhere. You don't know which way to go. So you got to know where you are, and where you are is a result of your paradigms. Now, paradigms, I don't know, another one of those words, but most of you maybe haven't heard the word. This is, it was new to me a few years ago. A paradigm is basically a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior. Right? So if you think about when you wake up in the morning, you just kind of get into action. You don't have to think about it. There's a certain way you go through your day or through certain things that you don't have to think about. You put on your pants a certain way, you brush your teeth a certain way. When I shower, I start with the shampoo first. There's a certain way I do things, and you don't have to give it any conscious thought. It just happens automatically. It happens easily. It happens habitually, right? And almost all of our behavior is habitual. So we need to become aware of what our paradigms are. And actually, I don't like participation in crowds, but guys, humor me, please. Pick up a pen if you have one. Is there a pen on the table or not? And just write out, I love MCC and MA, whatever name you write.
I love Joe.
All right, good. I love Joe. I love Dustin.
I love MCC and
So, you didn't have to think about which hand was going to reach for the pen, right? You just reached for the pen and you started writing. It was easy, it wasn't hard. Now go back with the other hand and write the same thing.
Really?
And notice how uncomfortable that is. Like how stressed your body feels. It's like, what's the point of this? Why would I do this? Like, what's...
Looks like.
So if you think about wanting to change any paradigm, so for instance, I want to get healthy, and I need to get to the gym in order to start working out, but I like to party, so I go out and I get home late, hungover, and I say tomorrow morning it's okay, I'll go to the gym the next day, I'll sleep it off, right? My paradigm isn't that I don't want to go to the gym, my paradigm is that I can't wake up early in the morning. And that I'm doing things that I know I shouldn't be doing, but I'm doing them anyway, right? I want to lose 50 pounds, and I'm eating healthy. It's okay, lose 50 pounds. I'm in a restaurant 3 nights, dessert menu comes, so I'll have the chocolate cake. It's my cheat day, right? That comes from a cybernetic mechanism. I read about in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know, if you haven't read that book, that's probably that's the second book I think I recommend after Think and Grow Rich. It talks about our self-image and how we're set at a certain, level in anything we do. Like a thermostat in this room, it's set at 22, and the furnace kicks in if it drops below that, and if it goes above that, it'll maybe kick in the air conditioning. So it's always keeping the room at 22. And if we have a self-image of ourselves, whether rich, poor, healthy, unhealthy, happy, unhappy, that's going to be our setting. Like we have a setting for that. And that book actually really hits that home. So going back to this paradigm, to explain this a little better, this is a stick person. So that top circle is the head, and that bottom circle is the body. Okay, so let that top circle represent the mind. And the reason why we have the picture is because we think in pictures. If I say mind, what picture you get? I kind of think of the brain, I don't know, there's no picture, right? The mind is like, you don't see it. So that's going to represent the mind. And in the mind is 2 parts. The top part is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And then we have the body. So anything that's impressed in the subconscious mind is expressed through the body. Anything you're thinking it puts your body in motion, right? If you want to reach for the pen, the thought causes your body to act to that action, right? To that thought. So the conscious mind is where we do our thinking. We have the ability to think. We have the ability to choose what we want, our goal, what we want to have for breakfast or dinner. It's where we do our thinking, right? And if you think, really, when was the last time we were the cause of our thinking? Usually, we're reacting to something. Our thinking is all done in a reactive way. Like, the phone rings, let me answer it. I got to get back to this person via email. How are we going to get this deal approved? How am I going to structure this one? I got to pick up the kids from dancing. It's just, we're reacting to everything outside of us. Everything's outside. And any spiritual book says to go inside. And I know that I wasn't. And I think I can't really say one thing that caused any change. And really, I'm still the same person. It's just raising that level of awareness, right? So the conscious mind is also where your educated mind. That's where all the education filtered in when you were in school, when you read and remembered it, repeated it. That's your intellect. Now, in the intellect you have the ability, you have sensors in your conscious mind. Hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. Right? So that's going to give us feedback of what's going on around us. But what's going on around us, or what's going on right now in our bank account, or what's going on with our client, or what's going on with our wife, or husband, or dog, or whatever, that's all a result of our previous way of thinking. Because if I'm able to see the account balance, like my sight lets me think about that, right? So I'll get more into that, but the subconscious mind is the emotional mind. The ancient Greeks, I think, used to refer to it as the heart. So the conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject any thought. So you decide what you want, you can either accept it or reject it. If somebody says the market's going to crash, you can accept or reject that thought. Somebody tells you you got 2 months to live, you can accept or reject that thought. If somebody says you're amazing, can't wait to hear you speak, you can accept or reject that thought, right? So you have the ability in your conscious mind to make a decision, but the subconscious mind has no ability to accept or reject. So this is where I get it. Like, see, I don't know what I'm doing right now. It's okay. Must accept. So it's okay. You know what? I'll get that. So we want to choose our thought. We want to choose what we want. And then we need to impress that in our subconscious mind. So there's 2 ways to change a paradigm. One is by emotional impact, which is usually negative, or it's usually something that's pretty shocking to you, and it's going to cause you to feel a certain way anytime you hear something or see something. Rich told me to spray a certain cream on or to associate something with scent, so that's one way to program the subconscious mind. The other way is through constant spaced repetition, and that's where people talk about affirmations. So you repeat something, you lie to yourself over and over again until you believe it. Just like maybe you lied to your first girlfriend or you tell that lie enough times, you start to believe it, right? And you start to react like as if somebody's accusing you of lying, like it was anyway. So you convince yourself that it's actually that way. The subconscious mind can't tell you that you're lying. It has no way of knowing what's real or imagined. The sweat and the heart rate and everything else coming up here, it was like flight or fight. Like there was a tiger chasing me when really my life's not in danger. So why is my body reacting that way? That's the subconscious mind. And I wasn't.
Sure.
So just to go back to that, if that's the conscious mind, that's where we do our thinking. That's the subconscious mind, that's where our feelings are. Everything we're feeling is expressed through the body. Whatever we impress on the subconscious mind is expressed through the body. That puts us into action, and those actions get us results. So the T, thoughts, feelings, actions. Okay? Those are our results. Now, when you're in a slump, or when you're focusing on present circumstances, present conditions, you're getting emotionally involved with what you don't want, right? Present results. I want to do 50 million, and then I look at my volume, it's September, and I've got 8 million. Where's that going? Yeah, so when you're in a slump, when you feel stuck, it's because you're focused on what's already happened in the past. Like, that happened, for you to be here, it's as a result of everything that's happened before this point, right? So that, what did I say, 8 million, happened before that. So now we get emotionally involved with what we don't want, and guess what you attract to yourself? More clients who don't qualify. That was my thing. Kundama, where are you? You remember, when I started at your office, I had come back, it was a long story, but I had every complaint. I was like, oh, clients, they don't qualify, and if they don't qualify with me, then they go to the branch, and the branch commits fraud to get it done. I shouldn't shouldn't say that, but I think that's what was happening. Or underwriters. These underwriters, they don't understand what the heck, what's the matter with them. I had clients who didn't respect my time. They were texting me, it's Father's Day, I'm sorry, it's Father's Day, and I get more clients like that. More clients that drop me for rate, remember?
Yep.
The rate. And I remember you hooked me up with Nicole. She talked to me for, I think, an hour or two, remember? She gave me a book, and that kind of straightened me out a little bit, got me to the next level, raised my level of awareness. So I got from maybe 8 million, 9 million, maybe 13 million, 14 million. More debt, oh my God, how am I going to pay these bills? Gonna get more debt, more fat, getting fatter. Less romance. I don't know about you, but every married guy has this complaint. Not enough romance, right? And what happens? They emotionalize what there's not enough romance. Now, you think when I come home, right, and I'm bitter and angry, and I'm like cold shoulder because I'm not getting any romance, that my wife's going to snuggle up with me? Probably not, right? So like it works opposite than when you want it to. It's like, what do you expect to happen? So now she's reacting to that. So you're getting the same result over and over again, right? But if I have this picture that I want to be a prince, and I come home like a prince with flowers, and I tell her how great she is, and thank you for cleaning the house and everything. Irish. I'm sorry, see, that's the old paradigm.
Yeah.
Come on, my wife's been home for 14 years. What do you think's going to happen? More or less romance, right? So, it's going to give me more of what I want or more of what I don't want, right? So, this guy, Andrew Carnegie, that's the guy that commissioned Napoleon Hill to write the book Think and Grow Rich. And he says that anything you think about, doesn't matter if it's good or bad, whether you want it or not, it's got to take form. And that brings in a lot of attraction. And this thing about form, everything is energy, right? Everything. That's one thing I remember from school. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates, nothing rests, right? The paper that's on the table right now is paper because of the rate it's vibrating at. Before that was pulp because of the rate it was vibrating at. So, if you think of that, a thought is energy. A thought is energy, so it can transfer form. It's not created or destroyed. You're not going to destroy it. You can just bring it to form. And it will come to form. I can tell you that. Good and bad. I had all the good, all the struggle I wanted. So a law of attraction, yes, there's a stigma to that. When I first saw the movie The Secret, I was like, oh my God, this gene stuff, right? But think about how we learn. We watch it and then we judge it, and we walk away from it like we're experts, and we say, no, that doesn't exist, right? And we're afraid to say, yeah, I do believe in the law of attraction, because we don't really take the time to study it. So I've been studying this, and I realized that there's order in this on this planet. There's order. Everything happens by law. You know, there's you can send a rocket to the moon and time the landing within the fraction of a second. That's how precise the laws are that govern us. And we're not above that. We're God's highest form of creation, but we're not above the laws. So there is a law of attraction. It's actually a secondary law to the law of vibration. So if we know that everything vibrates, nothing rests, it's going to set us on a frequency of thought. Now, we don't mess with the law of gravity, right? If I gotta walk off of this thing, I know I better take the steps, otherwise I'm gonna fall off. If I'm on my balcony, I better put a wingsuit on or a parachute. I'm not gonna jump off because I know not to mess with the law of gravity, right? Because it's obvious to us. But there's other laws that are just as sure to happen as the law of gravity, and the law of vibration is one of them. We're energy. Everything is energy. Our body is a massive energy, and right now it's vibrating. And if I say, hey, how's it going? And you go, really good, man. Really excited. Like, I'm feeling really great. Like, I can't even say it properly. It doesn't match. Like, what you're feeling is expressed. Look, when I get passionate, you can feel it, right? That's energy. So my body's vibrating, your body's everything. A corpse, when we pass away, the body vibrates at a rapid rate. That's how we turn to dust. That's how we become dust. So everything vibrates, nothing rests. Let these lines represent frequencies, levels of frequency. Okay, so we have an infinite number of frequencies, and we think on frequencies. Those are thoughts, not clouds. So if we're thinking thoughts on that frequency, we're going to get results on that frequency. We set a goal, and since we know we got to set a goal way outside of us, it's way up on this frequency, way up on a higher frequency. So we make the decision, we want this goal, because we have the conscious ability to say, I want this goal. And I say, I'm going to have that goal as soon as I get the money. I'm going to hire an assistant as soon as I've got the time to run the ad. I'm going to get to the gym as soon as the kids go back to school. And every time, as soon as, the decision dwindles, and then pretty soon, there's no more decision, and the goal disappears, fades away, it's gone. So that's why in September, we start the goal, right? Because that goal, they worked on that frequency. If I'm a $10 million a year producer, and I want $50 million a year, I need to become the guy that does $50 million a year in my head before I can go there. And I could maybe do it in a year, but until I see myself as that person and I start doing the things that that person would do, taking the actions that that person would take, I'm not going to get anything different than what I got on my own frequency. So we focus on building the new. That's the frequency that has our thoughts that'll manifest our goal. So we got to get up on that frequency. Our thoughts are still way down here. So you need a paradigm shift. You do that with a committed decision. You got to commit. I'm going to do these things, whether it's convenient or not. Whether I drank last night or not, or stayed up late, or maybe you choose not to stay up late because you know that you're going to have to trade in the thing that you really want for that. So you make that committed decision, and pretty soon, every day, you keep making those decisions, and those thoughts from that lower frequency get up on that higher frequency. See, when we're down here, you can't expect to be on that. It's like you can't be on that frequency and expect to get the results of somebody on that higher frequency. I can't expect, I don't want to say names because I got to mention everybody. I can't expect $100 million results if I'm on a $10 million frequency, right? That would be like being tuned into 680 News, that Toronto news station, and getting upset that Drake's not on the radio. That'd be upset that I called Emma and Gary didn't answer the phone. And it sounds ridiculous, but when you understand law of vibration and frequencies, that's exactly how it is. So we make that committed decision, and we become that person, and that's what I mean, grow into that person. Now, another thing about the law of attraction, you don't get what you want. Oh, let's finish this thought. This guy, I don't question anything this man said. Like that's pretty cool, right? And I, in doing research, I was looking for slides for this thing. There was quote after quote after quote from Einstein and all these other physicists and scientists. It was incredible. I'm like, oh my God. It's absolutely science. It's not philosophy. This isn't some dreamy movie that's got people all like kumbaya and stuff. This is physics. So again, just become aware of your thinking. Present results cause your thinking. You're reacting to what's going on outside of you. Don't emotionalize those feelings. Keep the picture of what you want in your mind. So you want to be You want to have the thoughts and ideas which cause your feelings. You don't want to have the thoughts and feelings that are just going to happen because we're drifting. And this is, again, another Einstein quote. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The intuitive mind is the conscious mind. We have the intuition there. We have the ability to make our choices. Okay? The rational mind is a faithful servant. Our subconscious mind is our servant. We have created a society that honors the servant. We do things habitually, without thinking. We're honoring the subconscious mind and has forgotten the gift. Van Gogh said, first I dream my painting, then I paint my dream. And I could spend the next 6 days here putting up quotes. Any guy that's ever achieved anything, anytime somebody holds up an Oscar or a Grammy or an award, like, it's always the same message. They saw themselves there. They had that goal and they went for it, right? And it's not, there's more to the believing, but you have to go there in mind before you can go there in body. Okay, so talking about harmonious vibration. In 2016, this car was given to me. It's a 75 Alfa Romeo Spider. A couple of you guys know this story. I'm not going to get into a lot of details because I don't have a lot of time, but basically, I used to work for a guy when I was 15. I bought my confirmation suit there a few years prior. And we've kept a relationship off and on, but at the time when I was working with him, he was fixing up this car. He was restoring it. And we'd sometimes go to the shop and go see the car. And he knew I liked it. I had a car like that. It was a 1983, I think, Alfa Romeo Spider when I was in high school. Because my dad was a mechanic. Sometimes it'd be a car with no floorboards, and I'd have to like push my way to start it. And other times it was like a car like that, right? So I had been behind the wheel of a car like that before. And now I've gone through this life of struggle and anger and excuses. I was a victim. If there's no such thing as bad luck, I have no luck at all. And I started to change things around. And I truly became grateful for everything. I was a happy guy. I saw good in everything. And I actually became grateful for the crap, for all those struggles, because I understood that for as bad as those were, good was coming. And I don't think I've realized all that good yet. But I believe truly that for as tough as something is, and it's hard to fathom sometimes depending on what you're dealing with, but there's an equal and opposite good. So I was at my brother-in-law's place, and he's got a 68 Mercedes. It's the year he was born. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. I want a car from the year I was born. I want a 75, okay? So I decide I'm going to have a 75 something. And I go home that night, and I look on the laptop, and I'm looking at all kinds of cars. There's like, the 70s were crap for cars. Like, they sucked. But I said, you know what, let me see what the Alpha looked like. It looked the same for like 20 years, this thing. So I looked, it's got the split bumper. I said, man, I'm going to get a 75 Alpha one day. And I remember closing the laptop, putting it away, and it was like, I just knew I was going to have it. It's hard to explain. Usually before, like whenever I wanted something before, I'd be like, where is it? I got to find it. Who's got it? Who's selling it? Do you know anybody? This time I put it away, nobody knew nothing about it. And it was Tuesday of the long weekend, after the long weekend, and this guy, Sal, who had this car, was calling me, and I was 50-50 on whether I was going to answer. I think I answered on the 7th ring. It was like Tuesday morning. I hadn't talked to him in a while. It was going to be a long conversation. Anyway, he tells me he was driving the car, breaks down, the spring broke. He goes, do me a favor, come and get this car. I got people calling me. I told my wife to put it on the internet, and I got all kinds of people calling me from, wow, I got to go meet them here and there. Just come and get the car. I said, what do you mean, Sal? What do you want for it? He says, nothing, Joey. Just come and get the car. You got to get out of here by the weekend. I'll be right there. And that for me was big too, eh? I'll be right there. To receive, I was never a good receiver. Don't take the juice if it's offered to you when you go to Zio's house. It was ridiculous. Right? So imagine, this guy wants to give me a car. I don't want to take this car. But this time, I know how to take. I know how to receive, because receiving and giving are the same thing. It's the opposite side of the same thing. If I want to give something to you, now I give it. Before, when I used to give, before all this, I don't know, new awareness, I used to give, and despite everybody saying I gave and I didn't expect anything in return, that was bullshit. I did. I wanted to thank you. I wanted to call it Christmas. I wanted, I don't know, applause or some kind of appreciation. There was something, like, because then when we didn't get it, you were like, what the hell, right? Now when I give, and it's like, I love to give. And when that guy said, come and get the car, it was as if I was giving. I went and got the car. Because I learned this. We hear that what you put out, you get back, and pay it forward and all those things. If I give back to the source, that's just trading. That never goes. If I give something to Dustin, and then Dustin comes in next week and pays it back, and then I pay it back to Dustin, nobody else is getting anything. So this is the way the universe works. That's how it works. So I went and grabbed the car, and he told me it was a 72. He had only a little piece of the ownership left over, and he gave me an appraisal. And the appraisal was done in 1996 for a 1972 Alfa Romeo Spider. And he gives me that along with this little square. We had to go to the ministry because that little square didn't have all the information on it. So we're at the ministry, and they spit out this ownership, the replacement ownership, so he could sign the back, and it says 75. So I said, Sal, I think they made a mistake, because he has another Alpha that he told me was a 75. And I said, I think they gave you the wrong ownership. Now in my heart, I knew it was a 75 because that's what I asked. But it's not that I wanted it. I was in harmony with it. It wasn't a stretch for me. It wasn't on a free. If it was a Ferrari, I wouldn't have got it, because I'm not on that frequency of a Ferrari. You know, I'm on a frequency of an Alpha. I know what it feels like. I can see myself with it. It's not beyond my self-image. So I get this car. We're at the ministry, and he says, he gives that ownership back to the lady and says, can you just double check this? As she's checking, he goes, Joey, I'm sorry, I always get the two cars mixed up. Maybe this is the 75. I can't remember if this is the 72 and that's the 75 or vice versa. Ends up being this is a 75 Alfa Romeo Spider. I asked for this car, I didn't ask for it. I decided I'd have it a month before. I can't manifest it. I can't sit here and say, okay, I'm going to manifest something. And that's what we say when we hear about the law of attraction. Oh yeah, you're going to manifest it, so manifest $1 million. It doesn't work like that. I was on that frequency. That's me and my kid. And I saw myself like that with my kid, go to the bakery on a Sunday, right? I could see myself in that car. So I got 2 minutes left. My biggest challenge was trying to wrap this up. And I was like, I'm going to give them all kinds of information. I'm going to do this lesson. Because I didn't want to be up here like a motivational speaker. I'm not. I don't want to motivate you. I hope to inspire you. I hope to motivate you. But more than that, I really, truly, genuinely hope that I can, or that I've allowed you to see what's possible for yourself. Because when I heard this information, it kind of opened up a whole new world to me. And it was sort of like cake. Like if I think about it now, what's happened to me, I can't tell you, well, it was this, I started reading, I hadn't read a book until I was 40. I think I've read 100 books since then. I'm 43. I hadn't read a book, not even for book reports. I'd be there like the night before, okay, just like I was doing this thing this morning when I should have been here listening to The Economist. So, it's like cake. Everything. I let go of resentment. I let go of regret. I understood that there's a good, and I started to understand the laws that govern us. And attitude is like cake. You can't taste the salt. You don't bite into that piece of cake, oh, that's good baking powder, or that's good cocoa, or salt, or vanilla. It's good cake, right? And when I say we grow into our goals, that's what I mean. I believe we have to work on ourselves, always trying to become the better version of whoever we are today. I know I'm going to go to my grave, still trying to improve all these flaws that exist within me, and I'm good with them. I understand them. I understand cause and effect. I've learned to take complete responsibility for everything. Complete. Like if a deal's falling apart at the lawyer's office, and it was because something was missed, and we could say it was the realtor's responsibility or the lawyer's. No, you know what? Put it into our process. That's how I take responsibility. I don't say it was that guy's fault. I take complete responsibility. You went and bought a house, but you didn't think about the deposit. I told you you could approve, you'll be approved for $1 million purchase. The sales proceeds are gonna give you the down payment, but I didn't think to tell you that you needed a deposit of 50 grand in between that time. So now, you gotta come up with a deposit check and everybody's screaming and yelling, and, well, that's the realtor's job. No, I should have had that conversation with the client. Cause and effect. We are 100% responsible for all of the results. I don't care what those results are. 100%. So eat the cake. And there's probably like 1 million thank yous that I want to send out. I emailed some of these guys just to get a feel for who believes in the law of attraction. And I was going to do like this big, I was going to, how would you say, spotlight them all and put the picture and what they said, but no time for that. But, Lori Rasmussen, Carolyn Calero, Dustin, Kurt, Ryan, Eddy, Anthony Contento, Rob Boyd, Rich, Frank Napolitano, Nino, Bruno, Condamo. There's, and all the people that came up and gave me that encouragement, and you guys showed up at the right time every single time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me do this. Self-image is everything. And although I never struggled socially, I always had friends, I always got by, I was okay. I didn't have a tough life, guys. I came from a good home, and really, I fit in. But I never saw the line in the mirror. And it's like this company, the leadership is incredible, allows me to see the line that's in the mirror, like really. And I know that success filters down from the top. And that leadership, it's created at the very top. Like Gary Morris has made me feel important when I thought I was irrelevant. When I was like nobody, when I didn't think anybody knew my name. The guy knew my name. I couldn't believe it. And that gets trickled down to Cocholo and Ryan, the mayor. Like, Ryan, you called me at the perfect time that day, man. It was incredible. Rich, you just right into the driver's seat, right into the culture of what this company is. Don, I love you, man. See you next week, right? So, if we're trying to create a culture in our company, what better company to look at than this one right here? I'm so happy to be here. I come for the presentations, I come for the information, but I come to see most of you guys. I love connecting with you, I love sharing ideas, I love seeing people achieve their goals and reach the success they want to reach. So it's not all about seeing Ryan in his bathing suit. I come for, good times, drinks with the guys and girls, and I really enjoy being part of this family. I really, really do. And if you see me out by the pool,
Thanks very much, George. I appreciate it. You did say something there, though, that I'll disagree with you. You said that you're not a motivational speaker, and I totally disagree. That was fantastic.